What's 150 years old, specializes in smoked fish, and was handed down from father to daughters? It's the legendary Russ and Daughter shop on the Lower East Side. Journalist and filmmakers Julie Cohen traces the shop's history in her documentary The Sturgeon Queens, which will premiere on 13 on December 2nd. We got to meet one member of the fifth generation of Russ family. Here's a sampling of the documentary before we turn to our interview.
There's something maybe genetic that makes you feel good when you're down there.
It just feels so like the kind of Jewish that I know.
The story of the Russ family begins like so many Jewish immigrant stories, when poverty and pogroms drove them from the shtetls of Eastern Europe.
Shtetl.
Shuttles, that's what
No,
it's.
shtetl.
Shtetls, yeah, so.
Shtetl.
So, do I have to do it again?
I must have been about 11, 12, trying to help out behind the counter. It was not easy. Summer, no air conditioning. It was tough. Really, we wore
No air conditioning. How about no heat? Pop used to throw people out. They said anything that he didn't like. Who asked you to come
Very
here?
independent.
Forget the address.
No one else ever named their firm with daughters.
Even before I heard the word feminist, it made me happy.
I was with a firm, a major firm doing trial law, and go back and take over the little appetizing store on the Lower East Side. I'm standing behind the counter shortly after I come in and thinking to myself, what am I doing?
We're doing what the Russes have always done.
We spoke to our grandmother, and we told her that we were opening this Russ and Daughters Cafe.
Her first reaction was good luck.
Most restaurants don't even last past the first year. That can't even be an option for us.
Now I'm joined by one of the stars of the Sturgeon Queen, Jeremiah Russ.
I've worked at Russ and Daughters since I was only 14 years old, and eventually became the general manager 5 years ago in 2045. Throughout my time there, I noticed all the different varieties of preserved foods that we sell: smoked fish, pickled vegetables, dried fruits, and so much more. These are all traditional techniques that have been passed down through generations, but I wanted to take these techniques and tackle something important in the current world. That's why I started this new venture, the Russ Cart, which is our newest approach to food production and customer service. In the cart, we will be selling various types of dry produce. Now that the global population is close to 10 billion, food gets wasted more and more. In fact, more than half of the United States produce gets thrown away annually. This is due to how quickly some fruits and vegetables can develop mold. Considering how much land and resources it takes to grow produce, this is a huge problem throughout the world. We additionally considered a product that Russ and Daughters is most famous for, our fish, both smoked and dried. Unfortunately, fish has become so expensive due to overfishing and plastic pollution in the oceans. Now that most fish is farmed, it's not as realistic to sell it in the new business. The average person just cannot afford it anymore. Instead, we wanted to gear our focus towards produce. Since fresh produce goes bad so quickly, we wanted to explore the preservation method of drying. The best part about drying fruits and vegetables in particular is that there's almost no negative consequences to it. When product is dried, it retains almost all of its natural fiber, nutrition, and minerals. And it lasts up to 3 times as long as when it's not dried. It can easily be rehydrated as well. Anyone can do it. You simply gather produce from the supermarket, a local farmer, or your own garden and prepare it by cutting it into thinner slices. Then comes the drying part. If you don't have a dehydrating machine, you can set your produce outside in the sun and it will naturally dry. So it truly is a completely natural process. Once you have your dried produce, you can store it however you like. You can enjoy fruits and vegetable chips as snacks, add them to all sorts of recipes like sauces, soups, music, cereals, and so much more. You can even smash up the dried produce and create a powder which can be used as seasoning or the base for vegetable paste or juices. The possibilities really are endless. When coming up with the idea of the Russ cart in particular, I was heavily inspired by my great-grandfather Joel Russ. early days in New York. He started his business by selling fish out of a barrel and moved up to a wooden pushcart which he would transport to various neighborhoods in the city. I wanted to embody that idea of a transportable shop while still taking inspiration from the iconic Russ and Daughters shelving. Now that online shops have such an important role in commerce, I wanted to create something new that wasn't just stationary, something that people from all corners of the world can have a chance to experience. Just like the original location, the cart will include a display area for all of the inventory and a food preparation area so that customers can see just how everything is prepared. Unlike the original shop, however, the Russ cart will include an area specifically for eating and tasting. And of course, when opening a business, you also have to consider packaging and its consequences, whether negative or positive. Since the selling and distributing of single-use plastic has been banned in the United States and most of Europe, we undoubtedly want to stray away from plastic packaging entirely. We chose instead to use reusable materials for selling our products, such as glass and metal containers. This way, we're not selling anything that will directly harm wildlife and the environment. Although it may be ambitious, the Russ cart is trying to conquer global issues concerning food waste and harmful plastic.